All right, let's jump straight in. Today, we're unpacking a really fascinating, highly practical, and honestly somewhat high-stakes topic in this explainer. We're looking at the absolute reality of keeping a poodle clean, healthy, and looking sharp. Now, when you think of a poodle, your mind probably jumps straight to those pristine, curly coats and that incredible intelligence, right? But behind that perfectly groomed elegance is a massive logistical operation. It's a routine every poodle owner has to master. And today, we are going to break down exactly what that takes. You know the myth, right? It's literally the most common trap people fall into. They hear poodles are hypoallergenic, they don't shed, and they instantly think, oh great, an easy, low-maintenance dog. Well, yes and no. Sure, your couch, your black clothes, your car, they're all gonna stay miraculously fur-free. But the reality for the dog itself, yeah, that is a completely different story. So, to make this massive topic super manageable, here's our game plan. First, we'll look at the non-shedding reality. Second, we'll weigh pet clips against show clips. Third, we'll talk DIY versus professional grooming. And finally, we'll dive into crucial head-to-toe care. Let's get to it. Section 1, the non-shedding reality. Let's find out what actually happens to all that hair. Our source material hits the nail on the head with this quote. A poodle is definitely not a wash and wear dog. And the reason why is pretty simple. Their hair grows continuously. You see, unlike dogs with fur that naturally falls out and replaces itself, a poodle's coat just keeps getting longer and longer. Managing that continuously growing coat requires immense, non-negotiable dedication. It's really not the kind of thing you can just brush off until next month. 6 hours. Let that sink in for a second. That is the staggering amount of time it can take to fully brush, bathe, and trim a standard poodle at home. Even if you have a smaller miniature or toy poodle, you're still looking at about 3 hours initially. I want to set this realistic baseline for us early on because grooming a poodle is a serious time commitment. Which brings us nicely to section 2, pet clips versus show clips. The aesthetic choice you make here is basically going to dictate your entire calendar. When it comes to how your dog looks, you're at a major fork in the road. On one hand, you've got high-maintenance show clips, like the Continental. These demand a full groom every 4 weeks or less. Plus, you're thoroughly brushing them all the way down to the skin every 2 to 3 days. On the other hand, you have low-maintenance pet clips. These let you stretch those full grooms out to every 6 to 8 weeks, and your brushing routine drops to maybe 2 or 3 times a week. So before you pick a style, you really need to be honest with yourself about your own personal commitment level. But hey, beware of what I like to call the teddy bear trap. This clip leaves the entire body, face and feet shaped to this uniform length of a couple of inches. And look, it is incredibly adorable for sure, but it hides a ton of daily labor. Because that hair is left long around the face and tail, you've got to wipe the dog's face daily, and you're constantly doing cleanliness checks on their rear end. So definitely far from low maintenance. Okay, moving to section 3, DIY or professional grooming. This is the part where you decide how you're actually getting the job done. Basically, are you investing your time or are you investing your money? If you're going the DIY route, you've got some upfront investments. We're talking high-quality electric clippers, proper grooming scissors, and a non-slip grooming table. But listen, the absolute most critical item on this list is cooling spray. Clipper blades get extremely hot during use, literally hot enough to burn your dog's skin. You absolutely must use a cooling spray, or swap out your blades, or even rest them on an ice pack during the session. Safety first, always. Now contrast that massive DIY effort and equipment costs with the alternative. Hiring a pro is incredibly convenient, but a single visit for a standard poodle can easily run you $150 or more, and they'll tack on extra fees if the dog's hair is matted. When you think about a dog's 12 to 15-year lifespan, hitting up the groomer every 6 weeks really adds up. Now, regardless of who is actually clipping the hair, you're probably going to be doing some bathing at home. And there is a golden rule here. Brush before water. I really cannot stress this enough. If your poodle has tangles and you put them in the bath, getting those tangles wet turns them into impossible solid mats. When you wash them, just gently squeeze the shampoo through the coat in lukewarm water. Never vigorously rub or scrub it. And finally, those long coats have to be machine dried while you brush them simultaneously. Otherwise, the hair dries into these tight little curls that make getting an even haircut virtually impossible. All right, on to section 4. This is where we pivot hard from just making the coat look pretty to the absolute core of poodle ownership. Crucial, holistic, head-to-toe healthcare. We're gonna do a rapid-fire look at this holistic care, starting with the nails. If you hear them clicking on the floor or you notice them curving, it's time to clip. You really need to be checking these weekly. The trick is to carefully snip just the tip to avoid hitting the quick. That's the sensitive blood vessel inside the nail. Actually, if traditional clippers terrify you, you can always slowly introduce an electric nail grinder. Just be sure to use lots of treats to make it a positive experience. Moving right along to the eyes. Check them weekly for any redness or debris, and gently wipe away any sleep gunk with a damp cloth. Oh, and here's a super reassuring fact if you have a white or cream poodle. Those reddish tear stains you often see running down their muzzle, they are entirely harmless and purely cosmetic. Unless the eyes are tearing excessively, which would mean a trip to the vet, those stains are nothing to worry about from a medical standpoint. Ears, though, that's a totally different story. Poodles have these heavy drop ears, and their unique anatomy physically blocks air circulation, trapping moisture inside. Because of this, the hair growing inside the ear canal becomes a huge problem. You must apply medicated powder and literally pluck that hair out of the canal once a month. This isn't just about keeping them looking clean, it is an absolute medical necessity to stop painful yeast infections from setting in. Let's talk teeth. Daily brushing is the gold standard here. 2 to 3 times a week is great, but once a week is the absolute minimum. Plaque hardens into tartar fast, and that causes nasty gum abscesses. But listen to this critical warning. Never use human toothpaste on your dog. Human toothpaste often contains artificial sweeteners like xylitol, which are highly toxic and can be deadly to dogs. Stick exclusively to dog-safe flavored paste. So what does this all mean when we look at the big picture? Well, neglecting these areas leads to some severe consequences. If you ignore the teeth, that bacteria doesn't just stay in the mouth. It travels right through the bloodstream and can literally destroy the dog's heart, liver, or kidneys. Skip the ears, you're looking at blocked air and severe yeast infections. Ignore the coat, you end up with solid, skin-pulling mats that usually mean the dog has to be shaved completely bald. The takeaway here is simple. This grooming routine isn't just maintenance. It is truly life-saving healthcare. We've covered a tremendous amount of ground in this explainer today, from those 6-hour grooming realities to the absolute necessity of checking teeth and ears. So I want to leave you with a question. Are you ready to find your rhythm? Yes, without a doubt, it is a massive commitment, but mastering this complex routine transforms what could just be a frustrating chore into an incredibly rewarding, lifelong bonding experience with your dog. You're keeping them healthy, comfortable, and happy. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I really hope you leave feeling informed, prepared, and excited to tackle your poodle's care head on.